Hi, guys. It's me, Belinda George, Dr. George, Belinda. I'm here with another book for Tucked In Tuesdays. And I appreciate if you share. I'll keep doing this. Remember, I said as long as God gives me Tuesdays, I'll read. So I'm reading something that is a lost art. You don't hear it in schools anymore. Fairy tales. Um, we've kind of gotten away from that. When I was in school, we listened to it all the time. Hi, Michael. How are you? Hi, Mike. And hello, Virtuous. And hi, Noel. I believe is his name. Hello. It is a blessing to be here and glad to see you all joining. So I'm going to be reading a fairy tale by Michael Hacks. Read to me book of fairy tales. So fairy tales are stories that are written. A lot of Joel almost had it. Joel. Hi, Joel. How are you? Thank you for joining me on YouTube as well. So they're made up stories, right? And they teach you a lesson. Hi, Jerron, and hi, Judy Parsley. So I'll get started. The first one, there's several different. So I'll read two every Tuesday until I'm finished this entire book. So the first fairy tale you'll hear is Beauty and the Beast. Many of you have seen that. And yes, Mike, you're right. Disney has fairy tales for movies. You're right. A lot of kids will probably hear from it because of Disney. So here goes Beauty and the Beast. And it always starts off with there once was a man or once upon a time. So let's go. Beauty and the Beast. There once was a man with three daughters. Hello, Riley and Rolanda. Hello, hello. Hello, Gabe, if you look at it later. Hi, Gabe and Lennox, if you watch later. There once was a man with three daughters who left home one day to seek his fortune. He asked his daughters what he could bring back for them. One asked for diamonds and jewels. One asked for dresses made from the finest silk. His youngest daughter, Beauty, asked for nothing but a single rose. The man set out. After some time, he came upon an old stone castle. In the garden was the most beautiful rose bush. Hi, Samantha and Sean and Stanley and Mr. McStuffin. You know who you are. So he has three daughters. One asks for diamonds, one asks for pearls, and one simply wants a rose. So good evening, Miss Jackson. Good evening, Tish. Hi, Miss Rito. Hi, Sharon. All my favorites are all coming in. Hello. The man called as he opened the gate. No one answered. He knelt down to take a rose for his daughter, Beauty. A shadow appeared and loomed over him. Hi, Miss Como. Who are you? A deep voice bellowed. Afraid, the man dropped the rose. How dare you trespass on my property? The creature yelled. But in his fear, the man could barely speak. I have to stop for a second because I'm a little overwhelmed because I'm having so many people coming in. Hi, Roland. And it just feels good to see people listening to bedtime stories. I just had to give y'all a big old hard shout out. Love y'all. Thank y'all for that. Hi, Amanda. The Baldwin Bunch is watching. Hello. All right. Let me get back to my book. Hi, Chrissy. Let me get back to my book. Y'all are going to make me cry. I'm going to stop watching the screen. So he picks up the rose, and of course, the figure is looming over him. The creature was large with the fur of a bear and fangs and sharp claws. You are my prisoner now, the beast said as he grabbed the man by his collar. I was just picking a rose for my daughter, the man managed to say. Please spare me. A daughter? The beast considered this. I'll let you go. Before the man could give a sigh of relief and run away from the beast as fast as possible, the beast spoke again. I will spare you life if you give me your daughter in your place. Grateful to be free, the man rushed home and in tears told Beauty what had happened. It's all right, father. I will go in your place, Beauty said. She was always the most selfless of his daughters. But he is a great and terrible beast. Beauty ignored her father's protest. Satisfied that she was saving her father's life, she set off for the beast's castle. The beast greeted Beauty warmly, and soon her fears dissipated. He gave Beauty anything she could ever want at the castle: dresses and fancy jewelry, servants to prepare her food and make her comfortable. She knew her sisters would be jealous. So here she is. There's Beauty. Mostly the beast left her alone, except every evening at 9 o'clock when he met her for dinner. They talked late into the night, and Beauty began to look forward to their conversations. Do you have everything you need, Beauty? I do, said Beast. Will you marry me, Beauty? I can't, Beast. Every night the Beast asked Beauty to marry him, and every night she refused him. Until one night when she asked, Why do you keep asking me, Beast? I enjoy your company, but I can't be your wife. Heartbroken, the Beast asked Beauty to promise him that if she wouldn't marry him, then she would never leave him. She had grown rather fond of him and wanted to make him happy. I will, Beast, but can I see my family one more time before I promise to stay here forever? And so there they are. Such great illustrations. The Beast offered her a magic mirror that showed Beauty her family's home. Her sisters were married to wealthy merchants and they looked happy. Her father, however, looked thin and pale. His face creased with worry. Hello, Dr. Knight. Oh, please, Beast, let me go to my father. I must see him, Beauty begged. The Beast couldn't stand to see Beauty upset, so he let her go. He gave her a gold ring. When he put it on her finger, she would be transported back home. When she took it off, she would be transported back to the Beast's castle. Before she went to bed, Beauty put on the ring, and the next morning when she woke up, she was back in her father's house. Hello, Gloria. At the sight of her, her father's face lit up. She assured her father that the Beast treated her well and that she was happy. Her father began to look less worried. As time passed, Beauty was so happy to be with her father and sisters that she started to forget about her beast. Then one night she had a nightmare about her beast. She dreamed he was sick, with no one to care for him. The next day she said goodbye to her family. Beauty knew she had to return to the Beast as she had promised. Hi, Chelsea. Hi, Butler boys. How are you? She took off the ring and was magically transported back to her bedroom in the castle. Beauty called out for the Beast, but heard no response. Her voice echoed throughout the empty hallway. From outside her bedroom window, Beauty saw something among the roses in the garden. Beast, she cried and ran outside. The Beast was lying sick, barely able to move. You came back, he said, his words struggling to get out. Oh, my Beast, she cradled his head in her arms. I do love you and I will marry you. Oh, my Beast. Oh, I'm reading it again. She cradled his head in her arms. I do love you and I will marry you. The Beast closed his eyes and in an instant he was transformed. Gone were the fur and fangs and sharp claws. In Beauty's arms, he turned into a handsome prince. I was cursed, Beauty. I was cursed to look ugly and frightening until someone would fall in love with me. I never thought you could love me. I do love you, Beauty said. They were married and lived the rest of their days as king and queen of the castle. So, great fairy tale. So before I read the next one, which is Cinderella, let's jump right into the Beauty and the Beast. So we've all seen it 1,000,001 times. I don't know where I've been. I've read this as a kid. I watched the movie. I didn't know she had two sisters. And Beauty wanted the single rose. So Beauty was the least materialistic, I would say, the minimalist. And her dad would do anything for his girls, apparently. So Beauty, even though Beauty was beautiful in the inside, she was beautiful in the inside because she could see past people's outside. She had a heart. And while the Beast gave her a ring for her to go back and forth, he trusted her. And that's what love is based on, whether you're in a relationship, a marriage, friendship. It's all based on trust and love. And people, I see it all the time. Beauty is in from within, and it really is. And Beauty saw that within Beast. So I love that. All right, we're going to read. Hi, Miss Compton. We're going to read Cinderella and see what we find out about Cinderella. So here's Cinderella. We've seen many, many renditions of Cinderella over the years. Once upon a time, a beautiful girl lived with her evil stepmother and two evil stepsisters. The stepmother insisted that she wait on them, clean the house all day, and sleep in the soot of the fireplace. The stepsisters called her Cinderella because she was always covered in cinders. I didn't know that. Cinderella followed their orders without complaint, but inside she dreamed of leaving their house and falling in love. Stop daydreaming, the evil stepmother scolded. Hi, Addison, how are you? You can't sweep properly if you're not paying attention. Cinderella swept and scrubbed the floors until not even a speck of dust remained. Make me breakfast, demanded one stepsister. Cinderella obediently cooked eggs, fried bacon, and served her stepsister. Fix those buttons on my dress, the other rather plump stepsister said. Cinderella sewed the tiny stitches until her fingertips bled. Now go outside and tend to the chickens, they both shouted. So Cinderella went outside and fed the chickens and sang a sweet song about spring days to the field mice that poked their heads out of the grass. And this is how Cinderella's days slowly passed by. One day, happy Tuesday to you too. One fine day, a horseman galloped up the road and came to a stop before Cinderella. For the ladies of the house, he said with a slight bow, and handed Cinderella a large white envelope closed by the royal seal. Before Cinderella could consider reading it herself, her stepmother and stepsisters appeared in the doorway. They politely waved to the retreating horseman, then raced to Cinderella as he was out of sight. Who was that? What did he want? What did he give you? The evil stepmother snatched the envelope from Cinderella and tore it open. She gasped, an invitation to a royal ball for all eligible ladies of the house. My dear, she said to her daughters, do you know what this means? There's going to be a ball, the plump stepsister asked. There she is. Well, yes, of course, but this means that the prince must be looking for a wife. Isn't this just wonderful? One of my daughters will be queen. Cinderella piped up. It says all eligible ladies. Does that include me? You at a ball? Her stepmother laughed, and the two stepsisters joined in. What would you possibly do at a ball? Sweep the floor? Don't be silly. Now, Cinderella, prepare our baths. I want my daughters to be irresistible to the prince. Cinderella did as she was told. She drew water for their baths. She aired out their finest dresses, and she helped fix their hair. After they left for the ball, Cinderella went to her little bed near the fireplace and wept. As her tears splashed into the soot at her feet, something wondrous happened. An old woman who glowed with magic appeared before her. Who are you? Cinderella asked. I'm your fairy godmother. Now dry those tears. You have a ball to attend. I am your fairy godmother. Now dry those tears. You have a ball to attend. Repeated that. But how can I, said Cinderella? I'm just an ordinary girl. I have nothing to wear to a ball and I have no way to get there. With a snap of her fingers, the fairy godmother transformed Cinderella's rags into an elegant gown of the finest silk. Her dirty brown shoes were replaced with silver slippers as delicate as glass. With a second snap, a magnificent coach led by 6 white horses appeared outside. Cinderella was astonished. Could all of this really be for her? You have only until the clock chimes 12 times. Cinderella, the fairy godmother, warned. The spell wears off at midnight. Cinderella ran out the doorway, not wanting to waste any more of her time. She had left before the spell wore off. At the ball, the prince was on the dance floor, waltzing with one of the stepsisters. Her sister waited jealously in the crowd, but the prince walked by her and caught another girl's eye. He excused himself to his partner and walked straight over to this beautiful and enchanting girl. May I have this dance? The prince asked with a flourish. Who was the girl who was important enough to steal the prince from her? Wondered the stepsister. It was not anyone she had ever seen before. It was Cinderella. Maybe it was her lovely gown, or maybe it was the fairy godmother's magic, but not even her stepsisters or stepmother recognized her. Cinderella curtsied and took the prince's hand. Her stepsister scowled and rejoined her mother and sister in the audience. The prince spun Cinderella elegantly around the dance floor. Everyone watched. Hi, Ryan. And whispered and wondered who this mysterious girl could be. Cinderella kept her eyes only on the prince. As one song ended and another began, the prince and Cinderella continued to dance. He looked at no one else, and he danced all of his dances that night with her. After hours had passed, the prince asked the girl to walk outside with him. He wanted to find out who she was and where she had been all this time, since he had never met her before. Cinderella took his arm and smiled and walked with him. My lovely lady, tell me, what is your name? Before Cinderella could say anything, the clock chimed. It was midnight. Cinderella knew she had to leave before the 12th chime, or he would find out what she really was. With barely a goodbye, she ran out of the palace and toward the coach. Her coach. My lady, the prince called. Cinderella looked back one last time, tripping over the steps. The prince tried to rush after her to help, but she kept running, leaving a single slipper behind. So I have to say hello to Megan and Ryan, and hello, Mr. Poncho, Ava, Ari, and Pop Pop. Hello. Cinderella leaped into the coach and rode out of the palace grounds as the 12th chime sounded. As she drove away, the prince picked up her slipper. He asked his footman if he had seen the beautiful girl running by. He said no one, but an ordinary girl. Here she is. Look how beautiful. He said no one but an ordinary girl in a drab dress. The prince vowed to find the mysterious girl with this lost shoe. When he found her, he would marry her. The next day, the prince began his search. All the ladies in the kingdom wanted to try on the slipper, claiming that they were the prince's one true love. But girl after girl failed the test. Then one day, while Cinderella worked in the kitchen, a coach arrived at the door. It was the prince's coach. He was here to ask the ladies of the house to try on the slipper. It's mine, the first stepsister said. She shoved her sister aside and grabbed the slipper from the prince, but her foot was too big, and try as she might, she couldn't cram her toes inside. No, it's mine, the other stepsister insisted, taking the slipper from her. She tried to shove her foot inside, but her heel was too big for the delicate slipper. The prince sighed. Are there any more ladies in the house? He asked, while his stepmother was encouraging her daughters to try again to squeeze their large feet into the slipper. Cinderella stepped out of the kitchen. Might I try, stepmother? You? I'm sorry, Your Majesty. This is only a servant. She does not know her place. The stepmother tried to shoo Cinderella out of sight. Ignoring the stepmother, the prince met Cinderella's eyes. Could it be? Could this be his true love? He knelt before her and held out the slipper. It fit perfectly. Soon after Cinderella and the prince married, her stepmother and stepsisters bowed before her and begged her to forgive them. Sorry about that. Do you promise to be good for the rest of your lives? Cinderella asked. We do, they said, and they were forgiven. Cinderella lived in the palace happy and in love for the rest of her days. Her dream had come true. Hi, Miss Weber. Well, those are the two fairy tales for the night, Beauty and the Beast and Cinderella, and they had similarities because the beauty was hidden inside. And although the prince saw her dressed beautifully, he still loved who she was because the attraction was not physical. Hi, Aunt Priscilla. So, guys, sometimes we are going through things and we just don't understand, and we're thinking, we don't look the right part, we don't act the right part, we don't feel the right part, but there's someone out there for everyone. There's a job out there for everyone. So the goal is to be yourself. These people never changed who they were. The people around them changed them, but the inside was still inside. Well, that's pretty deep, even for me. So boys and girls, I want you to remember these two stories, even though they're fairy tales, and we say fairy tales do come true. Just not in that form. You're not going to be transformed overnight. You're not going to be snap of a finger and be where you want to be. But you know what you will be? You'll be you. You'll be happy, and people will love you just because of it. Love it, love it, love it. So my books for till next Tuesday, and Miss Jackson said, "Amen." It's Jack and the Beanstalk. You've all heard that. And The Little Mermaid, which I've never heard the fairy tale, but I've definitely seen it. So we'll read those two next Tuesday. Thank you guys for joining me. I really appreciate the support. Share, share, share. I'll be bringing those authors back. Guys, remember, if nobody else tells you, look at my ears. Dr. George loves you. Those of you at Homer Drive and those of you that I saw on a daily basis, I miss you terribly. But you know where I am and I know where you are. So distance does not play a part in our relationships. Guys, have a good night, rest well, and have a great day tomorrow on purpose. And if you don't you go messing up anybody else's. And yes, 2 more fairy tales for a couple of weeks, Miss Fehrenbacher. And good night. See you next week. Love you too, Miss Savoy. You're welcome, Miss Como. I love you. Y'all gonna make me cry. I'm gonna go. Love you guys. Good night.